Now Liam decided to celebrate his 25th birthday like never before. Actually, he's never been 25 before, so it'll be easy. He was a fan of all kinds of quests. That's why he invited his closest friends, Oliver, Andrew, Emma, and Marcus, to his villa. Liam had prepared not only tricky challenges, but also amazing prizes for them. The best one was a paid trip to an exotic island. The person who reached the secret room first would go there together with Liam. Oliver got a piece of paper with his first riddle. It went like this. Paul is the brother of Mark. Mark is the brother of Sam. Sam is the father of Daniel. How is Daniel related to Paul? Oliver didn't have to think long before figuring out that Paul was Daniel's uncle. Andrew's riddle said, I'm always hungry, and I disappear when I'm not fed. But whatever I touch turns red. What am I? Andrew understood the answer was a fire. Emma's riddle went like this. It's been around for millions of years, but it's never more than a month old. What is it? Emma answered it was the moon, and this answer was correct. The task Marcus got was a bit trickier than the rest. He needed to physically stand behind one of his friends while this friend was standing behind him. How could he do it? Marcus just asked Oliver to position himself in such a way that the guys were standing back to back. Everyone passed the first level with flying colors. Now, each of them got a much more difficult task. Oliver got trapped in a room with no doors or windows. Suddenly, it started to fill with water. Oliver checked everywhere. There was no way to turn it off. Oliver knew Liam would come to check on him in 5 minutes. But in 2 minutes, the entire room would be flooded. Of course, he wouldn't be able to hold his breath for 3 minutes. The room was mostly empty except for 3 things: a rope, a bucket, and a baseball bat. Only one of them could actually save the guy in this situation. Which one should he choose to save himself? The bucket. Oliver put it over his head. It created an air pocket, and it provided him with enough oxygen to breathe for several minutes till Liam arrived. Andrew found himself in a dark room. When he switched on the light, he saw a note pinned to the wall. You're a scientist stuck inside this lab. There are 3 doors in front of you. One of them can lead you outside, but there is a trap inside each of these rooms. Behind the first door, there are flesh-eating plants. Door number 2 hides huge mutated wasps. And inside the third room, there are hungry tigers. Which door will you choose to save yourself from this extreme situation? Andrew opted for the first door. He realized that the plants couldn't move, so he could easily get around them. Emma found herself in a large dining room filled with people. She had to figure out which of them was a time traveler. Can you help her? It's this man. Look at his shoes. Good thing Emma was attentive enough to spot this detail. Marcus had to play the role of a detective. He had the following case on his hands. A wealthy man called Mr. Garci disappeared from his house during the night. He had 2 nephews and a niece who were supposed to inherit his money. The police officer immediately called them. Damien said he had just returned from Italy, where he visited his girlfriend. Once he got to know the news, he hopped on the plane and flew back home. Nora said that the day before, she had opened her own jewelry store. She and her team had been celebrating all night long. And Tim said he had been out of town with his wife. Marcus had to decide which of these people was lying. Have you understood? It's Damien. The police called him just a few hours ago. He wouldn't have had enough time to get back from Italy. Everyone passed the test, but the tasks are getting more complicated. Oliver found himself locked in a room with no windows and only one door with a combination lock. To open it and get out of the room, he needed to crack one riddle. The answer would be the password. The more you see, the less you get. Do you know the answer? Oliver managed to figure out that the word he needed was fog. Andrew was trying to crack a riddle of his own. It went like this: what moves faster, heat or cold? Can you figure it out? Luckily, Andrew realized in time that the correct answer was heat. After all, you can always catch a cold. Emma had to figure out the answer to a math riddle. A farmer had 12 sheep, but then all but 9 of them had run away. How many sheep did the man have left? Emma didn't need to think long before correctly answering 9. Marcus got another detective riddle. An elderly lady was sure her neighbors had stolen her garden gnome. The neighbors in question were 3 students who rented a house next to hers and were infamous for their pranks. When the police questioned the guys, they all said they had just returned from a trip to another town. When they were driving back home, they got a flat tire. It took them a lot of time to find a replacement. What can Marcus do to figure out if the guys are telling the truth? He should separate them and ask each of the guys which tire was flat. If their answers are different, it means they've pulled a prank on their neighbor. Oliver's next puzzle was a rebus, and it was tough. Check it out. What phrase is hidden here? It took Oliver quite some time to figure out it meant Space Invaders. Andrew had a large square made of matchsticks with 4 smaller squares inside. He had to remove 2 matchsticks so that only 2 squares remain. How can he do it? This way. Emma had to figure out what this rebus puzzle meant. See? That means try to understand. Marcus had 15 matchsticks arranged this way. He had to remove 6 of them to make them 10. How is it possible? The guy soon realized this was the only way to crack this riddle. By this time, Oliver found himself in a hall with 2 similar-looking doors. Behind the first door, there was a room with acid all over the floor. Behind the second door, there was melted gold covering everything in the room. Which should Oliver choose? The guy should opt for the second door. In most cases, melted gold doesn't need that much time before it becomes solid again. Meanwhile, Andrew somehow ended up in a prison cell. There was only one security guard watching over him. At some point, the guard got distracted, and Andrew managed to sneak out of his cell and hide in the main room. But there was one more door and the guard between him and freedom. After a while, the guard stood up. He took a key from a glass vase standing on the table next to the door, unlocked the door, went out, and locked the door again. Andrew rushed to the table, but there were too many keys in the vase. Which is the right one? Andrew can take any key, they're all the same. The guard didn't even care to check which key he had taken before opening the door. Emma was locked in the basement. The only thing in the otherwise empty room was a huge screen on the wall. Suddenly, it switched on. Emma saw 3 girls. One of them had pink hair. The hair of the girl in the middle was light blue, and the third girl had dark blue hair. Emma had to look at them attentively and figure out which of them has recently used magic. It was the pink-haired girl. Look at her right hand. She's holding a tiny sphere of blue light. She must have used her magic not so long ago. Marcus got caught in a large house that was on fire. Luckily, he found a note that could help him get to safety. Here's what it looked like. Soon the guy saw 4 doors. Each of them was marked with a certain symbol. Which door should Marcus choose? If Marcus connects the emojis with the names of the rooms they represent, he'll get a diamond. It means he should opt for the first door. And all the friends got to the secret room at the same time. Well, Liam hadn't thought of such an outcome. That's why he asked his friends to crack one more riddle. Each of them had to write their answer on a piece of paper and give it to Liam. On a large screen on the wall, the guy saw 3 gamers. All of them looked pretty cool. The first one was wearing golden earphones. The second gamer had unusual DIY headphones. And the third gamer had strange-looking eyes and a gaming joystick. The question is, which gamer is rich? The first guy just bought cool headphones. The second one is probably fooling around. But the third guy most likely creates computer games and tests them. This is his profession, which means he's rich. Who do you think answered correctly and went to a beautiful tropical island together with Liam?